Alright, I gave you guys 1 week to go see Eternals in the theater, so if you haven't seen it and are here for a little non-spoiler, we're gonna start with that. But if you have seen it, we're gonna do lots of spoilers because it's one of those movies you cannot talk about until you've seen it. So, welcome to my Marvel Eternals review. I was actually very, very excited about this movie. I can't tell you exactly why. I think maybe it's just been anticipated for a long time. There's a lot of big names in it, and something about this story was just intriguing to me. So I was very excited to see this one, even though I kind of had no idea what it was going to be about. And I feel like every preview just kept getting better and better, and like, yeah, okay, I'm ready to see this movie. So it finally came out. I think it was like a year after it was supposed to. Whatever, finally came out. Here we are. And I actually really liked it. I know it's kind of got mixed reviews, but for me, it had almost all of the Marvel things that I love. Starting with really fun characters. So many different characters. That's the one thing I was worried about this movie, that I'm like, there's a lot of characters. Like, there's 10 Eternals. So that we start out with just 10 characters, not to mention all the little side characters that come in throughout the movie. It's a lot. So I was like, okay, but I really didn't know what to expect. From what we know from the preview, we know that these Eternals have come to Earth to protect us from these bad creatures, right? That's all we really know, and that's all I can say about the story without giving away the spoilers. But I think if you're a Marvel fan, you will like this movie because it is a new era of Marvel with new characters, and I think this is gonna keep rolling, tying into maybe some other things, but also rolling with brand new storylines. So it was actiony, it had story, it had good characters and their relationships, visually a great movie, so I have to recommend it, and I really liked it. But I really just want to talk about the spoilers. So if you don't want to know, this is the end of the line for you. If you've seen it and you're ready to talk about it, let's go. Because this is the spoiler section. Okay, first off, all I really want to talk about are the 2 end credit scenes, but we will wait for that. So let's instead start with the actual storyline. The characters brought down to save the Earth. Great. We're rolling along. They're going through time. We're jumping back and forth. I'm instantly falling in love with these characters, especially Sersi and Ikaris. You know, you instantly like them from the beginning. So when we get the twist that Ikaris is not the character that we are kind of thinking he is all along, I was shocked and I was sad because I was like, I know you're not the bad guy because you're kind of just following what you believe, but like, dude, you're making it very hard for me to root for you in all of this. So it was just this really weird struggle for me. Also, I absolutely adore him from the live action Cinderella, so I was like, oh, I kept trying real hard to separate the two, but I couldn't. Anyways, that was a very interesting twist, especially when we learned that he killed Ajax. And we finally realize what he has been doing all along. Whew, super fascinating. But Sersi is kind of just this sweet character throughout, and her boyfriend Dane, we're like, okay, she's trying to live a normal life, you know, because they live forever. It's so hard to imagine what that's actually like living through time where people come and go and things change, and how do you live your life when you're immortal? Like, it was really fascinating to see what they had done throughout the years. I have to say, one of my favorite parts of the story was the relationship of Thena and Gilgamesh. Like, they never actually put them together, but it's kind of like unwritten. And here's what I realized about Marvel that I never really put together before. They don't do relationships. Like, that is not the center of any Marvel story. Like, nobody is really together. Like, even Tony and Pepper are kind of in Infinity War, but, and then obviously, you know, they're married in Endgame. I don't know, like, we never really get a full relationship. And if I'm not thinking of one, please let me know, because I kind of was racking my brain on this. I'm like, wow, Marvel is not romance. In this movie, when we see that 2-second relationship between Sersi and Ikaris, I was like, ooh, scandalous. And I'm like, wait, that's because maybe we've never really seen a relationship in Marvel before. So it was a kind of a revelation for me. And like I said, please let me know if I am wrong, because I want to know now. So anyways, watching Thena and Gilgamesh together was super sweet. Like, she has a lifelong illness, it seems, and he kind of just takes care of her, and it was kind of beautiful. I have my mixed feelings about Angelina Jolie in things, but I really liked her in this movie. So anyways, the relationships were very interesting, especially the whole Peter Pan scenario with Sprite, Icarus, and Circe. It was all just really fascinating. Another one of my favorite relationships was Kingo, I think his name, and his valet. The two of them together were hilarious. I love sidekick characters like that. Like when they have the whole fight scene and he's like, "Did you get that on tape?" "I sure did, sir." It was just funny. Like that was a great relationship. Did I love the whole premise of them having to defeat Celestial, whatever, the guy that was in the middle of the earth coming out? No, I thought that was kind of weird, but we had to give them some sort of major conflict to come together. Did I love that they killed off Gilgamesh? No. Even Ajax, I don't know. I didn't love that they killed her off too. Like, I guess I just don't like when my heroes die. So there's a lot of things I didn't love about the storyline itself, because it felt just very, maybe too general. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. But what I really am here to talk about are those two end credits and the torture that Marvel puts us through. Let's talk about the first one. All right. So we've got our Eternals going their separate ways. We are on the ship, and in walks Harry Styles as Thanos' brother. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that seems really left field. Where are we going with this? He had a very Guardians of the Galaxy vibe, so maybe that's where they're going. But how does he not look a thing like Thanos? I don't know. And then I want to talk about how cheap and terrible that troll character looks. Like, of all the money that Marvel has, like, you freaking have Lucasfilm in your back pocket. Why can't you make a more realistic looking character? It was so computer animated that it hurt my eyes to watch. In this day and age, you can't get away with stuff like that. So I was kind of mad. I was just mad at that scene. I'm like, why are you here? What are you doing? And who are you? And it really didn't give us anything. I thought maybe this is our setup scene. Then we get our second end credit scene. And this is the one I am most excited about. We get Cersei's boyfriend, who tries to tell her at the end of the movie that he's not who she thinks he is. He has this secret too. And I'm like, oh, you a character. You are going to be a superhero somehow. Like, you knew it. But then it ends, you're like, okay, well, we're not going to learn about that this movie. And then he shows up in the second end credit with his magic sword thing. And I'm like, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea who this character is, but I'm on board. You know, I knew when she gave him that ring of the family crest that it was gonna be something, and I think that's gonna tie into it. I had a friend of mine tell me that it's some sort of medieval superhero character, but like I said, I know nothing. And then at the very last second, a voice says, "Are you sure you want to do that?" or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's the voice. It's like, "Are you sure?" Who is the voice? My guess, it's the Watcher from What If, because one, it sounded like him, and two, it sounded like it was coming from, it was just a voice, like a celestial voice. And I know people are guessing it was Nick Fury, but I think we would recognize his voice at this point, right? And why wouldn't they just show him? Why wouldn't you just pan to Samuel L. Jackson and then shut the screen off? So I think this is that damn multiverse messing with us again. I think that this multiverse is just going to be their catch-all, fix-all. I'm not sure I'm on board with it, but I think that's what they're doing. But again, like I said last week, I'm tired of guessing what Marvel's going to do. I'm a sucker for it, and I'm going to try to guess it anyway, but I'm tired. I'm so tired, Marvel. Can you maybe just make me a movie that is what it is? I don't know. Is that really what I want? I don't think so, but I don't know. So those are my thoughts on the Eternals. Let me know what you guys thought, because I'm just curious what everybody else thinks about it too. So I've been on the internet just looking at stuff, and it's all very interesting, and I can't wait to see. I know I say this every time about Marvel. I just can't wait to see when it all comes together and where it's all going to come together. My name's Aubrey. I make new videos every Thursday, so make sure you subscribe and follow me on all my social media, and I will see you guys next week. Okay, our next Marvel is gonna be Hawkeye on Disney Plus. 6-episode special. I would be shocked if it tied into Eternals, but I guess we'll find out. You know, I keep getting more and more excited for every new Marvel thing coming, and so far so good, so